Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Jamie Moore here in London ahead of Cameron Vuong Fight Week. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks, mate.
Yeah, good to hear. Big week for Cameron Vuong. He seems to be moving up in those levels really consistently at the moment. How happy are you with his progress?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the way he's progressing. You know, Eddie's keeping him busy, which is the main thing you want with a prospect coming through. Started out straight away in 6-rounders. This is his first 8-rounder, and he's coming along nicely. So yeah, I'm happy with him.
Is this sort of what the plan looked like when you sort of took him on, when he started his pro career? Is this where you'd expect him to be at this stage?
Yeah, of course, active. Getting some good experience in against kids who not world beaters, but they're coming to give him, decent enough tests, not your general journeyman, and it's exactly how we'd want him to be coming to get those lessons on board for further down the line when he does actually step up into a higher class.
How much are you seeing that progress in the gym? Because when a young fighter starts out, the progress is obviously pretty fast. Is it noticeable how much he's improving?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when he first came to us, there was stuff what I sort of looked at and I thought, if he's going to progress and develop as he should do as a pro, then there's things what we need to address. And within the first sort of 3 or 4 months, the stuff what he needed to work on, he has worked on. He's took it all on board. He listens to everything you say, and you can see those improvements all the time. We sat and watched last week his sparring from the same day we sat down and watched it, and his sparring from 3 months before, and the difference was massive. And I said, you've got to do things like that to understand how far you've come. It's because it's been sort of a roller coaster ride. 3 fights in 3 months, and it was sort of fast and furious. All of a sudden, sometimes you don't sort of sit back and appreciate how far you've come, and we did that, and he was sort of surprised. He was like, "Yeah, I see what you mean now." So yeah, I said, if you can do that in 3 months, imagine what you're going to do in 3 years' time. The progression you're going to make. So yeah, I'm happy with him.
How does 2024 look for Cameron, yourself, and obviously his management? Where do you want him to be at the end of this year?
Well, so this is his first 8-rounder in his fourth fight, and then he's got scheduled a 10-rounder in April. So that's the type of things what we're talking about. By the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if he was in a position where you're talking about he's had 7 or 8 fights and he would be there or thereabouts to be fighting for a British title, that type of level, because he is that good and he's progressing that well that you wouldn't want to sort of slow him down and revert back to go, okay, well, we're going to slow him down and start fighting lesser opponents. I don't see the point in that. And he's getting good work in the gym, sparring top level fighters, so he's getting good experience over the rounds. He's learning to navigate the rounds, stuff like knowing when to rest and when to go, have a round off and things like that. We've had a couple of sessions where he's done longer spars and done that, and he picks it up, really quickly, and then it's sort of set in stone with him. It doesn't go away. So he's got a really good boxing brain, and I'm really happy with the way he's coming on.
Picking it back up with Jamie Moore here, post-press conference, we were talking about Cameron Vuong's progression. This is a real progress fight for him, somebody who's been in the ring with some top talents, Dalton Smith, Harlem Eubank, both mentioned. How much is he going to offer?
Yeah, he's got a couple of losses on his record, but they're against real good opposition, so you can't really go off that. But if Cameron's going to go down the route what we expect him to, then he should be able to deal with him in a similar sort of fashion. So that's the plan, and that's what it is. It's a good test for him, and it's a good yardstick of where he's at.
I know we spoke a lot about Cameron before the press conference, so I want to talk to you a little bit about the main event. Akib Fiaz obviously been in with Reece Bellotti, and that's where Reece got the victory. How do you view this main event? Because a real 50-50, lots of people are looking at it.
Yeah, and I think it really is that type of fight. Bellotti, a lot of respect for him. We thought it was the right time for Akib, and maybe it was, in hindsight now, it was maybe a little bit too early because he's got so much experience. And obviously he's got that equaliser. He punches so hard, and I think that's going to be the difference in this fight. Both guys are good, high, intense pressure fighters, but I think Bellotti just carries that edge in power. And the sort of telling factor is going to be how Dillon holds that shot and whether he can do that for 12 rounds. It's all right doing it early on when you're fresh. and Bellotti works the body really well as well, so he should be able to take some gas out of the tank. So I think it'll be nip and tuck up until 6 rounds, maybe even Dillon's in front, but then I've got a feeling that getting towards the end, so maybe sort of 9-10 rounds, Bellotti might even get him out there.
How quickly are you looking to push Akib back into that sort of picture?
I'd like him to have 2 fights, two, an 8-rounder, then a 10-rounder. Work on some of the stuff what we believe where it went wrong, and then I'd love him to go straight back in there. And I said this the other day. I understand from Bellotti's point of view, his priority won't be Akib Fiaz. It's his own career, and he's at the stage now, rightly so, where Eddie might just go to him. Let's get you the biggest fight for the biggest money, just before it's time to call it a day. So I understand that, but I would love the opportunity for Akib to share the ring with him again and hope, try and reverse that decision. But we're in no rush with Akib. We've got plenty of time, and get him in 8 round the next out. Hopefully just after Ramadan, and then we'll see where we go.
Rumours circulating that Jack Catterall against Josh Taylor 2 is now done, complete, over the line. What can you tell us?
Well, I can't. I'm the trainer, so I'm not the manager. I'm not the promoter. But I'm hearing the same things. I'm hearing that we're nearly there with it. So thank God. It's been a long time coming, and I know both guys want it, and I know it's the fight what the British boxing fans want to see as well. So yeah, I'm glad that it looks like it's finally done, and hopefully we can get it over the line.
How frustrating has that been for Jack? Because it's been that one fight really that you've been working towards since the loss as such, and to finally get in a position where it might be done is relief.
Jack's the most patient fighter I've ever come across in my life, because you've got to take into account as well the 2 or maybe 3 years before the Josh Taylor fight, where he was there or thereabouts mandatory for Maurice Hooker, a WBO world champion at the time. And then the sort of scenario what unfolded after that was him waiting, biding his time, unification, so that there was nothing he could do in terms of forcing his position as mandatory, to then waiting for Ramirez to fight Taylor, to then to make undisputed, and then it's been the process from him becoming mandatory to this point now is like a 5-year process and a frustration. So he's really patient. I've said it so many times. He's the ultimate professional, and as and when he ends up becoming a world champion, which I firmly believe he will, he'll thoroughly deserve it.
I know, speaking to Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith, they've both said that that's a fight they're probably not going to have on DAZN and Matchroom because it's not pay-per-view fight, and perhaps they want pay-per-view money. Do you see it as a pay-per-view fight?
Well, I think the way the market is at the minute, a big fight where the fighters sort of expect and deserve good money generally goes on pay-per-view, and because it's a fight what sort of whets the appetite of British boxing fans, then you'd say that you'd expect it to be going on pay-per-view. I understand, like me as a boxing fan, I don't want any fight to be on pay-per-view. I'd rather it just be free to air. But beggars can't be choosers, and I'm just glad that we're at a stage where the fight's happening, because it's been frustrating and it's been a long time coming, and not for anyone really fault. It's just things have happened over the years where it's just causes frustration, and we're at a point in time now where it's going to happen. So I'm glad.
I know Katie Taylor was out in America last week, and she's hoping to be working towards the Chantel Cameron fight. From your point of view, is that what you're working towards?
I've heard nothing. I've heard nothing about that fight except for what I've seen on social media. I'm, as I said before, I'm not a manager. I'm not a promoter. So I did see the stuff with Eddie and Katie in America, and I suppose it's one of those where we'll just see where it goes.
As the trainer, though, is that the fight you would like for Chantel?
Yeah, I think Chantel deserves it. It's 1-1, and I think both girls, in a sense, would probably want it because it's 1-1. So I suppose at some point you've got to go, shall we have a decider? But the longer it goes on, the longer you've got to look at Katie's age and the career, what she's had, and does she want to be going in with fighters like Chantel who are younger, hungry. And those both fights was tough fights, even the one Chantel won. So yeah, I mean, you'd imagine that all parties are going to sit down and try and make that fight happen, because again, that's another fight what boxing fans want to see.
Final subject for me, we had some big breaking news last week that Alexander Usyk against Tyson Fury would be postponed. We've now got the rearranged date, of course. What was your initial reaction when you heard that news?
Yeah, just gutted. I mean, these things happen in boxing, and there's all the conspiracy theories going around that it was done on purpose and stuff, and it's just crazy. I understand boxing fans' frustrations, but these things happen. I said before in a different interview, I got cut 10 days before I fought Matthew Macklin, and luckily it was a small cut, and I had stitches under my eyelid and 10 days before, and then it healed, and I had the stitches taken out 5 days before the fight. So luckily we got away with it, but unfortunately these things happen in boxing, and it's just part and parcel.
There's been a lot of conspiracy theories out there that Tyson Fury maybe got his sparring partner to do that, or maybe even did the cut to himself. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Why would someone want to go? I mean, he looks in great shape, Fury, and why would someone want to go through 10 or 12 weeks of horrendous, putting your body through, just the hardest training what you can ever go through, to then cut yourself and then postpone it and have to go through all that training again? Just nuts.
Jamie, thank you very much for your time, and best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you, cheers.